Hello and welcome back to my Civ 6 6-armed Snowflake World Cup-y thing. I'm Ursa and we have gone through all the heats now, so check out the previous videos in this playlist if you didn't see those. We had some good fun, but there's a couple of tweaks to the layout I'm going to make just based off the heats. I didn't want to change the heats midway just to give an unfair advantage to anybody in particular, but here we go with the semi-finals. First, a couple of changes to the way that we're laying out the game. I've turned off culture, religious, and science victory because, well, culture and religious just weren't happening. Equally, we can't actually see any of the information on it with the autoplay mod that we've got, so just for now I'm turning them off. I'm going to see if I can find another autoplay or some other way that I can observe a culture or religious victory. Domination victory and score victory have both been let on. I'm hoping by putting domination victory, in fact actually let's just take score victory off. I'm hoping by putting domination victory up, I should encourage the computers to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more up in each other's faces in that way. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running the game to turn 200. Once we get to turn 200, we will pause the game and we will decide who we think has won that semi-final. At the end of the 3 semi-finals we've got, we'll have 3 winners, and after that's been done, I will put forward 2 wildcard picks from the semi-finals of civs that I think were worthy second place. Civs that I think did well in their respective semi-finals but didn't necessarily win for whatever reason. The entertaining picks, I'm going to say. I've also turned off barbarians purely because I think hopefully it should speed up the game a little bit. We'll see if that works or not. And finally, our observer civ. If you remember Alexander, the grand conqueror of Europe and India and the world, we unfortunately was our bye pick for all of the heats, so they have progressed straight through to the semi-final, the only civ that did do that. But we do need a new observant civ, and I was thinking, who did the worst out of all of the civs in the heats? It's a tricky choice, Bat. It's a tricky choice. Let me know in the comments, who do you think did absolutely just the worst out of everybody? I want to put forward Gorgo, and I shall be putting forward Gorgo for the first time. I remember this. It was a lot of settling, a lot of losing cities and then being taken over. It was just not a very Spartan way of playing the game. We start off semi-final 1 with probably one of the strongest of the 3 semi-finals. In this, I think we have 4 winners of their respective games. I'll have to go back and check. Let me know if I got that wrong. But John Curtin, Australia, I think is the only person who didn't win their respective civ. Australia actually being voted through as my choice or your choice of second place in the comments, so thanks for doing that. Australia did have a good game. They spread out quite nicely, but I'm really kind of hoping to see a little bit more assertiveness from John Curtin. Pericles did well at settling quickly. Trajan for Rome, I think, was probably one of the strongest heats we saw. Rome really did take the fight to a lot of people. Chandragupta as well did very well. I was impressed with their aggressiveness. Amantador were just pretty solid, I think, from a first heat, our first victor to go through. So 4 victors and 1 second place. This is going to be a strong semi-final. Let's jump in and see who wins. And here we go, jumping straight in, Gorgo on the left of the map, Trajan, top left, and Rome, Australia, top right. I think that was where Australia started last time, actually. Interesting enough. Pericles on the far right, Chandragupta, bottom right, and then Nubia, and Mantadore, I'm just going to get that name wrong. I'm really sorry, in the bottom left. And actually Nubia and Chandragupta both on the same turn, settling their second cities. Very quick actually, and let Chandragupta and Nubia immediately off with their new settlers to go into the middle of the map. Now, every single civ playing in this semi-final showed a pretty decent level of rapid settling, and I'm very much hoping for a similar case this time. Just Sparta is going to be hilarious through the whole thing. Look, you can see Rome already starting to push the person out. Oh, Chandragupta was first. Chandragupta with the 3rd city, Calcutta in towards the centre of the map, and Nubia as well, choosing to not push as far forward, keep them a little bit more settled. But we saw this from Nubia last game, actually. Rome already settling Ostia down there, and then Australia following up, and also Pericles following up. So, genuinely speaking, we've got pretty rapid 3 city starts. Nobody's messed up. 3 very well working AIs we've got going here. So in a game of absolute stalemate for the beginning, it's going to be very interesting to see who takes the initiative and seizes the middle of the map. Throughout the heats, we saw that if the person that settles quickest into the middle of the map and then sort of consolidates their hold there, generally can keep hold of their cities. It's the new cities that are built after that first wave. The person coming in third or fourth, they're the people that the loyalty can't quite sort of push towards. And look, Rome already using its roads to push that settler forward very quickly. I'm always impressed with Rome settling, and I think it's a real advantage for the Roman AI. Although Nubia already getting the fourth city down, and actually Chandragupta. Oh wow. Okay, so Rome is pushing, as is Pericles, but the other two civs choosing to settle a little closer to home. You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you don't miss out on that central chunk. But it looks like, yeah, look, Rome is not quite settled. As I would probably have gone a couple of tiles further up Rome, but it does leave you with 2 extra spaces, so it's not the worst thing in the world there. And Pericles did go, he didn't go too far as well. But look at Pericles' warrior army, my god, that is absolutely insane. Nubia already with the 5th settler on its way to the front lines. Nubia settling very quickly this game. That really is going to help them. And also Pericles with its 5th that I see there. Australia chose to settle in the middle of the gap, just sort of consolidate a little bit up. And here comes Rome's settler as well. But Rome is actually fallen behind. It looks like Nubia are going to be the first people to get a city in this central district. Now, it's going to be interesting. Do Nubia settle in this little bit here, or do they push further forward to where their warriors are? It'll be interesting. I think if they do push forward, and it looks like they might, although Rome settled on that equivalent tile, so don't get too excited. Oh, and actually they settled here, didn't they? So, let's have a look. See, no, they are pushing. So Nubia are going to be first in on the map, although Rome are going to be able to catch up very quickly with that settler because of the road. Yeah, look at that, just being able to run through all those hills. Yeah, Nubia really just going to forward settle here. So this is going to put a little bit of pressure on Rome. Oh, and Australia navally moving the settler up. That's clever. That's really clever, because Australia, it looks like they're going to actually forward settle Pericles here if they stick the city there. And actually Pericles is putting the city down here. So they might get pressured out of the middle. Yeah, look, there you go. Australia has settled. Now, this is going to be interesting. With Pericles having 1, 2, 3 cities nearby this Australian city, Australia have got to be very careful they don't lose it to loyalty. They've got to immediately follow that up with a couple of roads and a couple of forward settles. Oh, look, Nubia, instead of settling in the middle of the map, they choose to settle in the desert of Gorgos area. I just don't know if that's a good idea. Now, Rome, where's the settler going? Rome obviously can build very quick baths, although we didn't see them do too much of that. If they settled right next to Mount Kilimanjaro, they could be onto something good there. Chandragupta getting its 5th city down, but again, not pushing the issue, although the 6th settler is now on its way, so that's pretty impressive here. Also, Australia immediately and very quickly getting swordsmen, although the Rebillibong is already starting it. Oh god. Oh, John, Curtin, don't lose it. Oh, look, Rome, a very, very strong settle here. Now, will Rome defend the centre of the map with Legion? This would be the time to strike Nubia. Those Pitachi archers are tough, and they are real pain in the arses, but against Legions with the aerial defence upgrade, I mean, Rome, you could be onto something here. Just really consolidate. We haven't seen the computer forward settle that much and then keep a city. So if Rome can back this up with some pretty decent settling and sort of armouring, Rome could be onto a good start here. Chandragupta, where's that settler gone? It just seemed to have stopped. Oh, I don't know what they're doing. Another settler coming from our desert queen in the bottom left of the map. Now that will be their 6th city. It'll be interesting to see where they put it. Rome finishing 2 wonders at a term. Alright, Trajan. Calm down a bit. Although, another settler. That's more interesting to me. You can get as many wonders as you want, but it's all about the settlers at this point in the game. Australia moving their 6th settler down to the middle of the map as well. Let's see where that goes. That's going to be an interesting one there. Looks like Pericles, as expected as well, is picking up all of the great artists and great writers and stuff like that. Already a couple being sort of just popped around everywhere. It'll be interesting to see if Greece can keep the culture high. And there we go, Chandragupta settling right next to Australia there. And that, I think, is going to be the kick in the teeth that Australia didn't need in terms of loyalty. They've got to get that city down, and quickly. There we go, so it is down quickly. Now, is that going to be enough to persuade the 2 cities to stick around? I don't know if it is, you know. I think the loyalty of this city is going to be in real problem. Let's just have a quick look and see. Yeah, rebellion in 3 turns. They're going to lose that one if they're not careful. They need to ship population down to these 2 cities quickly. Otherwise, they might lose that, and it's only one way it's going to go. It's going to go to Greece if they do. Somehow as well, Nubia retaining full loyalty in this city. even though it's ages away, and in between they've got city-states and Roman cities between. Ah, there we go, Billabong, Billerart. I mean, I don't even know how you pronounce that, but that's flipped. So 3 cities, that's likely to go into a Pericles city, which is going to be great for them. Pericles very almost missed out there. But if that does fall to them... Oh, but it will be interesting. If Australia can mount an attack with the catapults, they might be able to take it back. And this time around, I think once Brisbane's population increases a little bit, they might be able to hold on to that, although the Roman legions are coming. If Rome take that city and then also settle this settler somewhere in the middle of the map, which they're threatening to do... In fact, where are you going to go? Rome has declared war on Greece. Okay. Which Greece? This Greece. Oh, Rome are quickly going after Gorgo. Now that could be interesting. Rome have taken the smallest army over here. But look, one trick. Did you see the legion just one hit that swordsman? That's all you need. You only need a couple of these legions, and my god, Rome can pack a punch in this early stage of the game. Trajan, what are you doing though? This settler has been running in a bloody circle. Just pop it down. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. That would be a perfect link to get a nice steady road to this. Oh no, they're off again. Oh, who knows where Rome are going to... Probably here. Or somewhere really stupid like that. I mean, come on, just settle Rome. That would have been a perfect city, and you're just letting Chandragupta bring a huge army of elephants in. If there's one thing that's going to destroy Legion, it's elephants. Strong showing from Greece here, actually. Just they're not even bothering to wait for the city to flip to them naturally. They are sending siege weapons in, boats in, to take the city themselves. Now, that could be a slight problem. If they let India in here and Chandragupta steal the city, Chandragupta is likely to be able to hold on to it. So they've got to be really careful. Oh, look, the settler's disappearing. Where the hell is that settler going? Just like, oh, I don't know. Oh, look, and Sparta's almost fallen as well. So this is a really strong showing from Rome already, and it looks like, yeah, but look, Rome are actually going to keep this. Oh, Nubia and Australia both declaring war on Rome, though. That's interesting. Now, Nubia are the ones that are probably going to threaten here, depending on whether or not they can bring cities up. Australia as well have a couple of troops in the area, but Roman legions are tough. This might be forcing Rome's hand, you know. At the moment, they're sending knights and legion across to go and take on Gorgo over on the left. But if you threaten Rome, they tend to fight back. Oh, Pericles, what have you done? You let India take it. Oh, I mean, we were saying that could happen. All they had to do was leave that a couple of turns and that would have flipped. Now, Chandragupta, there we go, look, full loyalty in 10 turns. It looks like they will be able to keep that city. The question is, yeah, look, already, here we go, Rome is starting to now move its legions. Once they're done with Gorgo, there's a lot of army that are going to start making its way over here. And look, Australia are making an attempt, but 54 strength Cume already. You're going to need way more than a catapult to take that city down, especially protected by knights and caravels. I mean, come on, Australia. And Brisbane is still falling. Rebellion in 267 turns. Okay, that's not going anywhere. But Australia does have musketmen, which I think is the first musketman that I've seen. Oh, there's Pericles have got one stashed away. You can see India down here as well, seem to be. They haven't built musketmen, they tend to focus on elephants, which is, to be honest, a pretty good move. Those elephants are good. And look, Nubia as well with musketmen, so nobody is really falling behind. If anything, Rome are falling behind because of their reliance on Legion. Not that it's giving them real problem. I mean, these cities at the moment have 18 strength. If they just... Rome, you've got to take these guys on quicker and press the advantage, because otherwise you're just going to miss out. And where did that settler go? Like, can you see the Roman settler? It's gone somewhere. Like it was hanging around somewhere that it could have settled, and it's just sodded off now. No idea where it's gone. So amongst all this fun, India have actually put down another city here. So they are alongside Rome, proving the most apt settlers. You can see rebellion in 13 turns, and this city is now rebellion in 3 turns. So India, they're just being a little too aggressive at the moment. They need to push the loyalty up a little bit. They might be in a dark age, which is probably what's causing them loyalty penalties, but if they can move their governors over, really start pressing the advantage. Oh, Rome have got musketmen, and Nubia's city is about to flip as well. And Gorgo is now being attacked by Rome. I'm expecting Rome to really come into this game. Once this city flips as well, I expect that to go to Rome because of the surrounding cities as well. Rome has made peace with Nubia, so Nubia decided against sending too many troops towards them. which means it's just Australia. And this crossbowmen, you're going to need more than that to take on the might of Rome. I'm really sorry. I was very much hoping the computers would take the emphasis off holy sites a little bit now that we've turned religious victories off. And you know what? In the best part, I think they kind of have. So let's just drop in. Let's start with Rome. Let's have a look in our favourite mountain passes. Double campus, and then a wonder in that third place. I don't know why the Chichen Itza gets put down there, but I mean, I guess it gives some pretty good jungle stuff. So yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. Melbourne as well, going for 2 campuses and what appears to be a mine. So could be better. I mean, 2 campuses for both are pretty strong. 3 campuses, the 3 campus Greek start. Now that is interesting. That means Pericles might be very, very ahead on tech. Oh, look, Billabong has flipped as well. India do go for at least 1 holy site, 1 campus, and this is still to be built on. So India a bit undecided at the moment, and 2 holy sites for Nubia and 1 campus. So I mean, even when faith isn't an option, Kerma's flipped as well. Even when faith isn't an option, it is worth getting it because there are a lot of things within the Rise and Fall campaign that would help later on. But it's interesting to see there is definite emphasis on building campuses for this game, which is really nice to see actually. So if this city doesn't fall a second time, and I can't guarantee that it won't, it should go to Greece because again, population of Olympia is 11, even though it's 1 tile further away than the other cities, it should be enough to clinch it. But Australia are nearby, so and they are not settling here. Who's that going to flip to? If Australia can grab that back, that would work well for them. Australia do grab the city. Now, that's interesting because Australia, between Perth and Brisbane, should have enough loyalty to hold on to it. It's going to be the case of whether or not India, with a new neighbour, and Chandragupta really doesn't like neighbours. It'll be interesting to see if they go after Australia. Nobody has gone after Australia just yet, but if they do, Australia of course get that huge production bonus, which is always quite dangerous. So yeah, interesting to see. And Kerma has only got 6 turns on it. It looks like Nubia are going to go for it, but nobody's in a position to take on those walls. No siege equipment here, and Gorgo is still alive as well. Gorgo's alive, which surprises me. But Rome have taken 3 cities. They're in a good place, Rome. I mean, if we just have a look, I don't know where that army's going. I think they were attacking Auckland or one of those city-states over there. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities for Rome, I think is the leader. 6 for Australia, 5 for Greece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for India. India are doing pretty well, actually. Nubia having a quiet one, but they have got 5 cities crammed into this small area. It's going to be interesting to see who Nubia go for, as Gorgo City now does start to get surrounded by musketmen and actually is beginning to rebel as well. That's their capital city and it's beginning to rebel. Even the game knows that they're not long for this world and they want to get out of there. They just, sorry Gorgo, but nobody wants to follow you anymore. Nubia has declared war on Greece. Now that's interesting. If they run that knight in and take the city, that would be so funny. I mean, I would give points to Nubia just for doing that, although it's not going to do them any good because just like this city, the loyalty will fall from it. But there we go, Rome has taken the city. So now, when this Kerma falls, that will give Rome the complete control over 2 snowflake arms, whatever you call it, of the map, including almost half of the tiles on the centre circle as well. I mean, look, Pitoli's influences are reaching all the way to this mine over here. Rome are doing really well at the moment. Oh, and look, have started gathering troops up around Australia. So Rome and Australia are currently at war. Oh, and that's a bombard. Bombard's doing well. Come on, Rome. Get yourself a couple of frigates and attack competently. God, are we going to have an AI that can actually attack a second AI and do it competently? Because that would be a frightening thing if they do. Well, this is interesting. Is Pericles going to get involved on this Australian war? Because at the moment, Rome is not going to win. I mean, Rome have got a lot of work to do to take any of these cities, but they are at least giving them some trouble here. But if Greece also go for them, Australia is going to find itself very light on troops. And as soon as the computer gets light on troops, it becomes a real problem. So that's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Australia can build troops super quickly once they get declared on. And unfortunately, Rome is using pike and shots against musketmen, which is not effective at all. we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Rome in a very strong position though. Trajan, your empire building is astounding, and just all the roads all linking up to Rome as well. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, as we suspected, Greece declaring war on Australia, boosting their production further. Now, this attack is not going to work. Only with one bombard army and no frigates. They're just going to end up landing. Australia is end up just going to sort of shooting everything. I would be massively surprised if they actually get anywhere. But the interesting thing is the diversion of troops that this attack should bring from the front line with Rome. Once Australia start to pull their troops back, which they probably will, Rome's going to get a much freer shot at Brisbane. And look, 2 bombards now in range, and they're attacking. Oh my god, Rome, you are competently attacking. The walls of Brisbane are down. Oh my god. Stop it. It's almost too much, Rome. This is almost too much. Let's have a traditional turn 100 or thereabouts look at the map and see what's happening. Rome, population 20, population 16 in these cities. I have to say, I love the way that Rome plays in this game. They're just so strong. So strong. We've got Canberra hidden behind about loads of things. 18 strength there. I mean, Greece's units are pretty dead now because, again, well, no, the musketmen, they've just spread out everywhere. Ignore that. Greece is just being Greece, being the AI. Athens, population 22 as well, is also hugely interesting. Australia making peace with Rome as the city burns. That is an interesting one. Rome, what have you done? You had a melee troop right outside. Why didn't you take the city? Oh, it's almost too painful to look at. Population 19, sorry, for India. That's surprising. Normally India are pretty good at getting ridiculous populations in their cities, but it almost looks like too many stepwells have been built. Stepwells are supposed to massively grow, but you end up just building them instead of farms, and you need loads of farms to get your population. I just don't think stepwells are all worth it, really. Population 19 for Nubia as well. So Rome definitely on the front foot, but are they going to regret not taking Brisbane there? That is a strong move, that a strong peace deal, especially now that Rome now have inventory. It's just interesting that.